so these two forms are very similar in nature, but used in two different scenarios. The Form 160, Registrants Disclosure of Interest, Acquisition of Property, is used on the buy, and the Form 161, Registrants Disclosure of Interest, Disposition of Property, is used on the sell. These forms, as you've probably guessed, are used when a registrant has to disclose their interest related to a transaction. If we are related to the client we are representing, then as per our Code of Ethics and REBBA regulations, we must disclose this information, and these are the forms we'll use. If you're a brand new agent, it's possible that your first few sales, or even established agents throughout their career, are going to be working with family members now and again. So before we get into it, if you like this video, consider subscribing, and if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. I get back to everyone. Okay, so we'll get into how we fill these forms out, but first I want to show you both the scenarios you're going to use these forms. As the cooperating agent on the buy side, using the Form 160, you will include this signed form when presenting an offer to the listing agent. This form will go with the Agreement of Purchase and Sale, Form 100, the Confirmation of Cooperation and Representation, Form 320, and your offer summary document, Form 801. You can either merge these documents in web forms before sending them to the listing agent, or just keep them separate. On the sell side, you'll actually put the signed Form 161 into the supplements of your listing for the cooperating agent to retrieve and have their client sign before presenting an offer. You will also indicate these helpful instructions to the cooperating agents in the offer instructions of the listing. Everyone involved must understand this interest: the buyers, the sellers, the cooperating agent, and the listing agent. Okay, so let's fill these forms out. Both short forms and both very similar. At the top we have our name, our position, salesperson, broker, broker of record, our brokerage we work with, and the address of the property involved in the transaction. Below that is where we explain the nature of the interest to be compliant with our Code of Ethics and REBBA, or soon to be TRESA. The following portion here requires the registrant to fully disclose any details of which they are aware that would affect the value of the property. Indication of facts that affect the value of the property we touch on in the 161, and this area will be left blank a high percentage of the time. Also, if you are working with any other interested person or have interest yourself regarding this property, you must disclose it here. Also very rare as well. Below that is where you will indicate if you will or will not be receiving a portion of any commission on the transaction. Most likely you will be receiving a commission. The Form 160 is the acquisition of property, and our clients don't pay on the buy side, the sellers do. If you are reducing your commission to help with the purchase, say if it's close, a separate form will be used for that anyways. Just below that, we as the registrant will sign, and you will also need your broker of record or managing broker to sign as well. And at the bottom, this form, as mentioned, will go with our offer and other forms, and it must be acknowledged by the sellers at the bottom here. Let's move over to the Form 161, Disposition of Property. Basically identical, but now used on the sale side. Same information up top here: name, position, brokerage, property involved, and the nature of the interest. Below, as mentioned, is where you would fully disclose any details of which you are aware that would affect the value of the property. This is no different from any scenario where we must divulge information regarding latent defects. If there are any latent defects, a defect which could not have been reasonably been discovered by a non-invasive home inspection, we must indicate it here. And below that, same as the Form 160, we will sign, our broker of record or managing broker will sign, and now the cooperating agent will have their buyer sign and present it with their offer. And that's basically it. Shorter forms for sure, the Form 160 and 161, Disclosure of Interest. I really hope that one helped, and again, my name is Callum Moore. If you need any more information on any of the OREA forms, check out this playlist right here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.